Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. I'm, of course, Adam, and we have a spicy one today, folks. It's Friday night. I'm bringing something special back that's been gone for what seems like a fortnight. It's called Movie Feuds. It was a show I did for several years meaning like almost a decade on the channel. Did over 100 episodes. I had some really fun collabs in the past, one of which is actually going to be on the show today. He's hiding in the back right now. I muted him. I hit him off into a corner, but he's raring to go. We're going to get started right now. It's Alien 3, a movie that will go down in infamy by many as the biggest disappointment known to man. I'm not going to build this up to be a terrible thing because that's not fair to the guest debater. I will just say this movie sucks. I am not defending this turd, and Tony's going to have a hard uphill battle to climb. I want to point out that if you are joining us live on YouTube, there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. Number one, super chats are welcome. Please put them in whenever during the debate, because after the debate's done, we're going to go over your opinions on Aliens 3, what you think about the film, or if you just have a question for Tony and I, put it in a super chat. Very welcome. It helps keep the channel going, helps it grow. Second thing, vote for your winner in the chat. There's a poll going on YouTube. You can see it at the top. It says Alien 3 is good, Alien 3 is bad. You're going to want to go ahead and put an Alien 3 is bad for that vote. I see Tony's already got his team here, and they're setting me up for failure, but we cannot let that happen. So those are a couple of things I want to point out. Let's bring Tony in for a quick little introduction. Tony.
Oh, yes. Hi. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Prop comedy.
That's
I'm
beautiful.
doing great. Oh, whoa. I'm sorry, Adam. The thing underneath your name saying that I suck, that's really out of line.
Oh, actually, that's an accident. I don't even know how that. Sheila must have put that in, the intern.
That is very immature. I would never stoop so low and do something like that. Also, I don't like that you said that my people are manipulating the election results of Alien 3 here. I don't like this mudslinging that you're throwing at me and my fine people. Okay.
The deep state is already out. They're rigging the election. They're rigging
Adam,
the results.
These kinds of conspiracies will get you kicked off YouTube.
That's right. That's right. I do notice it says Adam sucks. That's obviously not intentional either, right?
That's for a different Adam.
Okay, yeah, of course. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, do you have any words you want to sprinkle in before we start, or should I just bring up the little intro and we can get going?
Well, I love Alien 3.
Okay.
I'm a defender of Alien 3.
Yeah.
I'm a defender of the actual best version of Alien 3, which a lot of people haven't seen. People like you have been forced with this inferior product, not knowing that there's a beautiful, beautiful piece of art that's available to them. It's been available since 2003, and you're all just not seeing the light, and hopefully I can get people to see the light today.
So this is a complete redo of the film, shot for shot, totally changed, different script, everything?
No, it's what the film was going to be, but it has, you might notice that a character that got a lot of screen time in the first act just completely disappears in the movie. He actually gets to finish his character arc. There's a lot more in the assembly cut, as it's known.
Yes, I've been gifted the assembly cut by Tony. I will watch it. How I kind of feel, just, as a naive individual who hasn't watched it, I was told for many years that Daredevil, the director's cut, is far better than the original Daredevil film. And every time someone brings this up, I ask them point blank, does it still have a scene where they fight on a teeter-totter in a playground? And I can just see the blood drain from their face as they shake their head yes. And I say, we're done here. We're done here.
Look, the movie will probably still have the things you don't like. But I'm even going to argue stuff in the theatrical cut, the actual story. I'm going to argue that it's still good, no matter what version. I like the direction they went, and I'll argue it to the death. Adam, I'll argue it to the death.
Well, that's what we're here for today. So with that out of the way, let's get going. Let's start this thing.
Oh, wait, one last thing.
Oh God.
Sorry. I just want to let everyone know that I will only be answering $100 super chats for the rest of the stream. So, okay, that's
And if this sweetens the pot at all the donations today go to Sound of Freedom.
Yes. So please, $100 super chats to
Sound of Freedom, Sound of Freedom, Sound of Freedom. Get it in the algorithm. No.
Anyway, that's it. Goodbye.
All right, let's do this. All right, I made that. I did that just for this stream. Trying to give it a little spectacle.
Okay.
Tony?
Yes.
The first round is cast.
Yes, I'm pulling up the cast here.
Okay, I feel like you probably know this crew better than I do, but I will just lay out the lead star, of course. The strong female lead. And for a prison planet full of only men, it's about time. I'm talking Ripley, Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver. She's back for a third outing. She shedded not only her hair, but also some of her crew members. But we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, Sigourney, if we could just focus on her, Ripley's character for a second.
Yeah.
She is a complete shell of a woman in this film. She's not fun. She never smiles. She barely quips.
Whoa. She
it's
smiles.
Just a miserable experience all around with her.
You're wrong right off the bat. She does smile a few times. And
is that when they're ripping open Newt with the jaws of life?
No. It's when she's like hardcore flirting with the doctor. I think there's even more of that in the assembly cut where she really comes on to that dude. I actually like her a lot in this because she's been through hell. She's woken up to an even worse experience. And she's really holding her own in that prison planet. She could break down and be a mess, but she's like, no, I gotta focus. I gotta make sure everything's okay. I love one of my favorite Ripley moments ever is in this movie when she meets Dylan, played by Charles Dutton. And he's like, hey, I'm a murderer and I'm a rapist and I done all this and I did all this. He's trying to scare her. And she like so confidently just kind of mocks him because literally chronologically a week before she was fighting a giant monster with a robot suit. So this guy like tried to hype himself up. She's like, yeah, that's cute, buddy. Anyway, no, I really love her in this and like the struggle she's going through. Like she hates this alien. It's pretty much ruined her life and she knows what she has to do to stop it. She's conflicted about it. There's some Christ allegory there. I really love Ripley in this.
Well, the whole thing's Christ allegory. The whole thing has like this religious undertone to it that I never feel like really goes anywhere outside of her doing the T-pose into the lava, Passion of the Christ style.
That's also because it was left over from previous versions of the script. So
interesting. Yeah. Because I just rewatched this movie. I'm like, what does any of this have to do with anything? But again, we'll get there. We'll get over there.
Yeah.
You mentioned the sex scene. I don't know how familiar you are with the theatrical version now that you've kind of mixed potions with the assembly cut and all that. But in the theatrical version, it just snaps to Charles Dance's
Charles
character.
Dance, it's Clemens, yes.
Dr. Clemens, he pops out of bed and you just see Sigourney there like stretching, and it's clear they got it on, but there's really nothing else there. They just have a little conversation. He gave her one final shot of vitamin D, if you catch my drift, and then she was supposed to just stay in lockdown while he headed out to clean up the janitor's mess.
Yeah, I will say that is one flaw with the theatrical cut. They like trimmed a couple scenes. Like there's a sequence where she looks at him, she's like, I've been out here a long time, and he's like drinking his like coffee, like shaking. He's like, so have I. Like clearly they're basically telling each other like we're both really horny.
They drink a lot of coffee in this movie, by the way. They have like these novelty-sized coffee cups at one point, and then later the warden hands him what looks like his own shit in a glass. Like it's just everything is gross in this film. But again, that's for another part of the conversation.
Also, speaking about her being bald, she did say like she was also a producer on this, and when she picked David Fincher, she's like, what do you see for this character? And David Fincher's like, I don't know, bald. And she's like, I love it. So that was kind of her idea. And they made everyone go bald.
I mean, they went through like 45 different scripts at one point.
Yeah.
I found funny is in almost all of them, from what I read, they were killing off Hicks and Newt. There was no way these people were coming back.
Yeah, except for the one that they made the audiobook and comic for. Yeah, Nixon Hoot. Hicks and News. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. Once they decided they weren't coming back, they die in every version except for that original one.
Okay, so Sigourney, you liked her. You thought she was good. I just felt that she was kind of a zombie throughout this whole movie. Obviously, she's still easily the best part of the film. And that's only because I thought the rest of the cast was pretty lame. There's no Bill Paxton. You don't have any of the great... I mean, even Bishop is barely in the damn thing. And that's only in one scene where she resurrects his husk of a body. Yeah. I mean, the first...
Hey, give him credit. He still cracks jokes when he goes, I can't feel my legs. That's pretty good.
I mean, Bishop is always a good time. He's always a good time. Lance Henriksen, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Lance Henriksen.
Good stuff.
From Millennium.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was also in X-Files for a while, and then he kind of spun off of that show.
No. He was on X-Files after they canceled his show. They're like, we're going to finish your story in a shitty X-Files.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was the other way around, where they liked his character, so they gave him his own.
No.
All right.
Nope.
That's too bad. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in one of the seasons where Mulder was like kidnapped by the aliens, and he filled
the one right before that, leading up to that. Yeah.
And then they had Doggett, who was the T-1000.
Yes.
Which is a funny connection because this movie copies a lot of Terminator 2 at the end, and we'll talk about that as well.
That's a coincidence, but we'll get into it when we go into the story.
All right, so outside of Sigourney, we have Charles Dutton, who you pointed out as Leonard Dillon. I'm not a big fan of this actor just in general. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the racism in me. I don't know what, but I just don't like the janitor from Rudy. And in this movie, he's just annoying constantly. He's like, Ripley, you don't know anything. You know, we found God here. We found faith. And he's just always up in her grill. And there's no point to his character anyways. He just dies and it's just over.
Yeah, again, that's another thing where he's kind of like, he is like the kind of spiritual leader of the prison, and they've trimmed a bunch of his stuff down too. They show him like mediating a debate between prisoners at one point. I like him. You can tell he's a man who's like full of regret. He
for being in this movie, yeah.
No. Although I will tell you, there's a funny behind the scenes footage where he's talking to one of the other actors, and he's like, yeah, they say they're going to wrap me next week, but we'll see. But that's how much of a mess production was. Like, even he was like, oh, Jesus, I don't know what's going on here. He didn't like the movie at first, and then he grew to like it.
Well, you know who doesn't like the movie? The director, David Fincher.
No, but yeah, I kind of like his character. You're right. They could have done a little bit more with him. Because he doesn't really do a lot of like the stories. Like, he's not really integral to the story until like the second half, pretty much after Clemens dies.
Sure.
Yeah, but I like why he's there. He serves a purpose. He helps with the ending. I dig him. I dig him. I know why he's not the best. Again, the flaw with this film, which is the same flaw with Predators from 2010. They're all like horrible people. So when they get killed, you're just kind of like, Oh no!
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
That murderer died.
And they all, that's the funniest part, is because this whole movie is just grimy and it's got like a layer of Vaseline over the top
Yeah.
and everything looks like shit. I could not tell half of the prisoners and the guards apart. They're just constantly covered in dirt and mud.
Yeah.
When one guy shows up later who helps Ripley on that little skywalk getaway vehicle that's going 1 mile an hour, which is blowing a kiss to Bishop or whatever, the real one. I don't even know who that dude was. I think that's the guy that had the money shot of blood from his buddy earlier in the film. No, that's not
that guy that you're talking about. That guy you're talking about is Gallic. He's the one who disappears from the theatrical cut with no resolution. No, I know who you're talking about. He's the guy they mentioned in the beginning, like, oh, you made a deal with God to live forever, and then he's the only survivor at the end of the movie.
Okay, they probably figured since all these dudes kind of look the same, no one's gonna even notice or pay attention. So, I'm looking through this list. There's really no one else in this movie. You have Holt McCallany Jr. He has one scene in the film where he tries to rape Ripley. That's Robert Paulson from Fight Club. I don't really know him from much else.
Well, how could you forget? He is the criminal that Batman fights at the beginning of the theatrical cut of Justice League.
Oh my God, he is. You're right. On the rooftop when he kind of pins him to the wall and has the alien.
But then the Snyder cut deleted him.
Yes.
But then they worked in the character Desaad, who was voice acted by another prisoner from Alien 3, whose name I can't remember. Also,
Snyder's the blueprint. Snyder's the blueprint.
Holt is also, he's in Creepshow 2, and he plays a Native American. And yeah, it looks as bad as you're probably picturing in your head right now, because he is not Native American.
I just noticed Guy Person is trying to correct me that Robert Paulson was the name of Meatloaf. What I'm referring to is the guy that everybody is called Robert Paulson in Death, I believe is the big joke at the end of Fight Club. So that's what I was calling him. I don't remember his actual name in Fight Club. I don't know if they ever gave him one even. But yeah, okay, let's go. Let's see what else we have here in this list of just this cavalcade of disappointment. I don't see anyone. What do you think? The last guy I guess I'll bring up is Brian Glover as Harold Andrews. He's the judge, right? Or not the judge, the warden.
He's the warden. He was a professional wrestler. He was also in a American Werewolf in London. He's good. He's really good in this.
I did not like him. I thought
you're not supposed to like him.
I don't like the character, the actor that played him in this. He has this really high kind of comical voice. He didn't have a
This is rumor control. Here are the facts. I love that guy. What are you talking about?
Like, I'm just a simple country warden who fermentates my own shit. Have a drink.
I like him because he's trying to keep things together. And Ripley and Clemens are I kind of sympathize with him, where he's like, why did you take her out of the infirmary? Everyone is horny and violent. You're fucking up everything. Don't let her leave that room. Although it is kind of funny where she's like, there was an alien that attacked us, and he doesn't believe her. It's like, well, you're in space, dude. It's probably believable. Well, then there's Ralph Brown as Aaron, his second in command, who late into the film we find out is an idiot with an 85 IQ. He's kind of shitty too.
I truly don't. I just saw this movie 3 days ago, and I did a full breakdown of the film, and I have no idea who that is.
He's the nerdy. He's like the suck up to the warden. He's like the real company dude.
Oh, Ralph Brown. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. He's so forgettable. Everybody's forgettable.
And here's the thing. Paul McGann, who ended up being one of the Doctor Who's in a TV movie, he plays Gallic, the crazy prisoner who sees the alien and gets covered in blood. His whole character is very interesting, but like I said, the version you have, he just disappears.
He's just gone. Yeah, a lot of guys disappear. They kind of, because a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, some of them get rescued when Bishop's crew comes down to the planet, conveniently after the alien's killed.
Well, yeah, no, I think only one of them gets rescued, Moores, the guy at the very end. But yeah, all the other ones die. But he legit, you never see him die. You're in the theatrical cut, you're supposed to assume maybe in the explosion. But yeah, he had a whole character arc where he became obsessed with the alien, and he thought the alien was speaking to him. So skipping the story real quick, they capture the alien in the assembly cut during that plan. Really? But the explosion, they managed to capture the alien. But he He
So
has
he doesn't get the liquid, or he doesn't get the water on him. He doesn't
No,
crack and blow.
no. That still happens. I'm talking about the first plan that goes wrong with the explosion.
Oh, I got you.
The explosion happens, and I know, again, this is for story, but it counts for this character. The explosion happens, but they manage, the guy who tried to rape her, he sacrifices himself to bring the alien into that room to trap it.
Sure.
And then, so he's another character who disappears in the theatrical cut. Then the crazy guy, because he's obsessed with the alien and he thinks the alien's talking to him, he breaks the alien out, and the alien just kills him right away.
Beautiful.
So he did have this whole character thing that like was very, very important, and then they cut it out. And when you watch behind the scenes stuff, that actor is not happy about that, because he told all his friends he was in an alien movie, and his friends were like, "Yeah, we didn't really see you a lot. What happened to you?"
I'm in cut number 14 of this movie. I'm in there somewhere. I'm telling you, there's a cut. Man, think if social media was thriving back when Alien 3 came out. We might have petitions online. We'd have Tony leading the charge to release the Fincher cut. And Fincher, meanwhile, is like, I fucking hate this movie. I want nothing to do with this movie. Stop it. That's probably how Snyder really is. He's like, oh my God, I'll never be able to get away from the Snyder cult.
Yeah, no, I talked to the guy who got the assembly cut together, and he's just like, yeah, we asked him. He said no. He didn't want to do it.
I guess the last character, and arguably one of the most important ones we need to talk about, is the xenomorph himself, herself. Do they have sexes? Are they asexual?
Yeah, they're supposed to be asexual because she lays the eggs. There's expanded universe stuff where, like, if there is no queen, one of the drones will turn into a queen, but they're pretty much asexual.
Sure, it'll like change its. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only one alien in this one, which to a lot of people was a major letdown. Usually you just keep adding villains and adding creatures. To take away and go back to the basics of one again was a little jarring. And this isn't even a full-grown alien. This is like an angsty teen, right?
Well, I mean, that's kind of on par with the first one, but the reason it's different is because it comes out of a quadruped animal.
It comes out of a dog in the theatrical version.
The assembly cut, it comes out of a bull or an ox.
A space ox, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Which I like because technically the aliens, they look like they're shaped like humans because they bonded with humans. So it was cool to actually explore that element and be like, oh, what if it went on a four-legged one? It would be like a four-legged animal. Which I wish a lot of the other sequels took advantage of that. Like that shitty Alien versus Predator Requiem. It would have been cool if there were a couple like
terrible.
But it would have been cool if there were like dog aliens running around and stuff like that. They could have taken advantage of that.
Maybe not. Do you remember? Do I need to remind you of The Predator, where you had the Predator dogs running around?
Okay, that's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. That's a little different.
I will give you this. There were some concepts in this film that I did like, and one of them was the xenomorph. The kind of thinner, sicklier look of it was pretty cool. Yeah. It does have. Well, we can talk more about that on effects, which I guess we should just wait for. But anything to summarize cast, or are we good? We cover everything.
Yes, I understand the baldness, and not every actor gets like. There are some that look too much alike, but the ones that you're supposed to focus on, I really like. We've got to mention also Pete Postlethwaite, who's in a shit ton of movies. He's one of the guys that I wish had more screen time in this because I like him in so many other films.
Where is he? I gotta look.
He's rolling.
I know his face. He has a very recognizable face.
Whenever I watch this, I'm like, man, I wish he had like more screen time.
Oh man, he is in a ton of stuff. Holy crap.
Zardoz is in this. People think Sean Connery is Zardoz. He is not Zardoz, but the actor who plays Zardoz is one of the prisoners in this. I understand there's a little bit too many characters because they're all supposed to be cannon fodder, but the few that we're really supposed to pay attention to, I really enjoy. Yeah. Except for the theatrical cut when Gallic, his character just disappears. So oh well, but no, I dig the cast. I like what they did with the characters. I like that they're all kind of shitty people that are trying to find redemption. Sure. And I really like Ripley's whole character in this. I know a lot of people don't, but I thought this was a fun struggle for her to go through.
Yeah, it was a very fun struggle, as you say. Super it wasn't fun. She's a shell of her former self. Yeah. Everybody that she's loved is gone. She failed to destroy the xenomorphs, and her whole life has led to nothing but misery.
Super but think about like the previous two films. The alien is attacking her and her crew.
Yeah.
The alien is attacking her and a bunch of Marines. Now the alien is attacking, but she's with a bunch of people who want to murder her. So she really has less allies this time.
Yeah, it's just a very dire, kind of sad, somber ending to a woman that already kind of had a sad, miserable life ever since we've known her. So
Yeah.
I think that I mean, if that gets you off, then yeah, Tony likes seeing women suffer. He likes women dying, and that's really the takeaway here. You heard it. You heard it. All right, let's go to story. I think that we've spent enough time on cast.
Okay.
Let's get to the meat of this bitch.
Okay.
Look at that. That's it. That was all you got for a title thing, because I don't have time right now to make anything fancy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Okay, first episode jitters. We'll get it all ironed out eventually.
Yeah.
The story, to break it down. Let me see if I can paint a picture for you. We start this film out, credits roll. We're on the escape ship, not a pod. It's like a little chunk of whatever the name of that ship was. I forgot the name. Do you remember?
Well, it's the Sulaco. Then there's a fire and we go into an escape pod. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Ripley, Newt, Hicks. Hicks. Yeah, and Bishop are all in their little slumber party boxes. It gets jettisoned off. But we find out through super quick shots that there was actually a pod, a little alien sack, tucked into the corner. I like how it's not just on the ground. It's like the Queen. I picture the Queen like skulking in there. Puts it up there and just kind of like paints over it so they can't see it, and then sneaks out again. She looks at the camera and goes out.
Yeah.
This was ridiculous premise to begin with. I don't care as much as other people do, but I do find it kind of silly.
Here's the thing. You're complaining about how they fixed that error, because originally they weren't even going to tell you how the alien got on the ship. There was no shot to an egg. It was just the face hugger on the pod. And you would have been like, what? I was like, well, I guess a face hugger could have also snuck on the ship, but like, it's weird we didn't see that. So like, I think some people were confused. The beginning is supposed to be intentionally confusing to a point for the fake out with who the face hugger went on. But they apparently, from what I heard, they're like, oh, we got to add the egg. People were going, what the fuck? Where'd that alien come from?
It was very rushed when the credits fire up, and it's every half of the plot is introduced in this kind of flashback scenario really quickly. Ripley is jettisoned to planet Fiora or Paprika.
They call it Fury.
I call it Prison Planet because it's essentially just this dumping ground of former inmates who've all. I believe, because everything's kind of like quickly said and also boringly said, so I nod off while watching this film. But I believe they say the prison actually isn't active anymore, but everybody's just choosing to stay here. Is that right?
So what it was, and you're right, there's some weird audio issues when he's explaining her. There's a lot of background noise in that one scene. So it used to be a fully functioning mining facility run by prisoners that Wayland Yutani owned. They keep it active because they make like blast shields for like radiation. Like that's what that whole furnace and lead is there for. So it's basically they're there in case the company needs them to do all that shit. So they're just kind of that's why they don't need a full staff. They're like, all right, we only need a few people for this specific thing. So yeah, it's not well kept up because it's a skeleton crew of just a bunch of people who wanted to stay behind. I
was just gonna say, what I've seen this in several sci-fi movies. Tony, what do you call those things that like blow a huge amount of fire out of them? These like smokestacks of fire. What are those called?
I don't know. They keep calling it like the furnace.
It's a furnace. It's a sci-fi furnace.
Yeah, I guess so. Or smokestack. I don't know.
It's housing the energy from the center of the planet's core and just blowing it straight up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, after that, let me try to regale what happened in this film. She's found as a survivor, and we are quickly told that Newt, Hicks are gone. Bishop is out of commission as well, but I guess he's somewhat functional. He needs to be rebooted, get a new hard drive or something, whatever.
Yeah.
So they killed off Newt and Hicks. And for a lot of people, that's already a deal breaker going into this movie, because we spent all of Aliens getting to know these characters who just survived like some of the craziest onslaughts of aliens imaginable. And to just like not only quickly and unceremoniously kill them, but to spend the next 30 minutes ripping their bodies open and then fucking throwing them in a fire. I mean, my God, talk about overkill. We had to watch Ripley's like, I need to see the body. I need to put my fingers in her mouth. I need to like take a bone saw to her torso. It's just brutal.
So when I was a kid and first watched this, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And as I got older, I'm like, man, that is a great, like a bold way to start a sequel to a really beloved movie. Like that was risky. Obviously it didn't hit the nail on the head for everyone.
Yeah.
But I kind of love it now. Cause I mean, look, Aliens was like a fun action movie, but at the heart of this franchise is supposed to be horror. And like that just ups the stakes. Like, hey, all the people that you fought for, they are now dead. You're on your own, and there's more people who hate you now. So I like the stakes that it raises. Here's the thing. I like Aliens, but like Hicks and all the Marines, they're meant to look like these cool, tough guys.
Yeah.
Just to show how deadly the aliens are, because the aliens wipe them all out. It's kind of like Predator. We're going to show all these tough guys, and the Predator just wipes them out.
Right.
So, like, I'm fine with Hicks dying, to be honest, because I'm in this for Ripley, not so much Hicks.
Yeah. I could forgive Hicks, but killing them both. I mean, especially Newt, who her whole character arc was trying to survive. She was a survivor for how many months or years on this planet alone, and then boom, dead in a plane crash. It just it didn't seem like it was servicing the story. It seemed like it was servicing the convenience of not having to put these characters back in the film.
Part of me thinks because they deleted the famous scene where Ripley finds out her daughter's dead. Yeah. That didn't really get released until like the 90s on like home video. So part of me thinks they're like, oh shit, we really wanted to play that up in the last movie. And I do think that movie needs that scene, the previous one. So I guess they were like, you know what if we kill her surrogate daughter? And up the stakes there. Also, when you see what the rest of the movie is, like, I'm kind of glad there wasn't a little girl running around this place. I feel like that would have been.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna debate, it's not like this movie had to be made. Like the whole debate here is Alien 3 sucks. I would have done a completely different film than this. But,
also, if you're gonna pick up where the last one left off, like you would have had to recast Newt anyway because so much time had passed. So people probably would have been like, I don't like the new Newt.
To your point, I'm actually glad that they didn't have the daughter thing in the second movie, because that would have made this even more brutal. She lost 2 daughters basically now. And it's just like, she's the worst mom of the year.
And then Adam, hold on 1 second. I have another prop.
Oh my God. Is it a dead child?
And then she loses her green giant baby alien in the next movie. So that's like 3 kids.
Mama. Mama. Goes up the airlock. I love that. That movie is hilarious. I'm a fan.
Another thing with the beginning, I don't like the theatrical cuts opening where they just find them on the pod. I like the assembly cut where they show Clemens, the doctor, is taking a walk outside. So we actually get to see a little bit more of that world, not a lot of it. And he actually
tipping the hat to no one because they're in this shitty ass environment with just rain and
because a storm is coming. That's why they can't be outside. But it was nice to see the outside, and he's the one who actually finds Ripley. She washes up on shore. And it's cool. The beach is all like black, like the ocean looks like it's almost made out of oil or something.
There's water.
So, yeah, there's like a whole ocean outside.
Oh wow! Okay.
So
maybe they did show that, but it's so hard to see anything in the movie.
Yeah, for the reshoots, a lot of the exterior stuff was really toned down. But I like that he finds her and saves her basically, because she's like choking, so that helps their character. But that was cut out of the other version. The other version, they had to establish that there's now a dog in the prison planet.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Spike the dog.
Yeah, the oxes made sense because they use the oxes to haul the thing out of the ocean, but they also they show in that assembly cut that there's like a whole like butcher area with like chickens and stuff. That's like their food. So the ox made a little bit more sense. I don't know why you would have a fucking dog in this place.
Man's best friend. Man's best friend.
Like a cat makes more sense for like rats or something, but like a dog doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I mean, I also don't know why you would actively live on a prison planet for 20 years without a woman. So, I mean, we're in complete disagreement.
I mean, Adam, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I would love Adam, as a man who's been very single for 2 years,
sure,
and hasn't had the best relationships, I would love to just be away from it all.
Just cast away yourself.
And it's like, you know what?
Volleyball named Wilson.
You know what? It's not even an option, so I'm not even upset. It's when you know it could be an option and you're not having it that you go fucking crazy. Anyway,
I love you saying that, just like with the background in play right now. As a man who, for some reason, has been having a hard time finding women for several years with his collectibles and stuff all around.
You mean women aren't into the duct tape figures of me and my friends?
I wish you would have said that while you were holding the Alien 4 doll thing in your hand. I just don't get what women are looking for.
It's clearly not me. So yeah. So basically, Adam, what I'm saying is, let's ditch these broads. Let's shave our heads and let's just go be minors. Let's
just go live on a prison planet. All
let's
right.
Let's go to an oil platform, Adam. Let's just do that for a little.
But then I get chased around by Bruce Willis in a shotgun with some shitty Aerosmith song playing in the background. All right, let's focus. You brought up Spike the dog, or I did. Yeah. One of us did. The dog's in this movie, and that really is the catalyst for where everything's going to go awry, because we see the little baby face hugger scamper out in, honestly, one of the best looking shots in the entire film. I don't know if it's the best in the assembly, but there's this eerie ass shot where it's raining out and you just see it like come out of the shadows of the ship. Like, that's a fucking good shot.
That's not in the assembly cut. There's actually a bit of a continuity error. In the assembly cut, for some reason, there's no close up on this thing. They built a queen face hugger.
Oh.
So it's like the queen specifically left behind a queen face hugger, and they made like a toy of it at the time. So it's basically a bigger face hugger. It's got the queen's crown on the back near its tail, and it's got webbed fingers. You only see in a one shot when they bring the cow in, and the guys are talking like, how did this cow, like the thing is growing inside the cow and it killed it, but it hasn't actually burst it yet.
Sure.
And they're like, how did this thing die? And they're like, I don't know, we'll eat it later. And then the guy picks up the queen face hugger and he goes, what's this? So the idea was that this queen face hugger could like impregnate a drone and a queen.
Okay.
However, when they went back to LA while they were doing reshoots and they shot like the beginning of the movie, they decided to just use a regular face hugger. So that's why it's like a continuity error in the assembly cut version. But so you never actually see the face hugger go on to anyone or move in the assembly cut.
It just shows up in the jail cell at some point.
Yeah. And actually, I kind of wish, sorry, I know a lot about this movie, Adam.
That's why I had you on for it.
So I kind of wish, so a big flaw with this story here, and maybe you might actually think this too. People are always wondering, hey, if there's like a queen about to be born, why is the alien killing so many people?
Mm-hmm.
Was that an issue you might have had? Because a lot of people say
no, because I just wanted anything to happen in this movie.
Okay, so the guy finding the face hugger and not being fazed by it, that's to let like the audience know, and also with the lice in the colony, like the planet they're on is inhabited with like life, not intelligent life.
Sure.
So I think the alien like knows that there's other life forms around, so it's easier to just kill the humans and make them not a problem, and just face hug a bunch of other weird shit that's outside of the prison. That's a thing that not a lot of people bring up, and I think the movie should have made more of a point of that.
Yeah, I mean the movie should have done a lot. The movie should have made more of a point to not suck ass, but we'll just.
I disagree. It's great.
We'll just push forward. I am noticing in the poll right now, which you can use on the live chat.
Yeah.
Alien 3 is bad is at 49%, and Alien 3 is good is at 51%. It is pins and needles right now in the live chat. Get your vote in. Cast it out there. We know Alien 3 is bad. Don't do this Star Wars prequel bullshit on me, where suddenly you woke up one day and you're like, you know what? Rolling, that's a cool trick, is a great thing to say in a film. Misa, think innocent people gonna die? Or whatever the hell he says. No, it's still terrible. Come on. Just because the new Star Wars movies aren't good doesn't make the prequels any better.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on with this goddamn movie. So
Okay.
Spike is killed. This
Yeah.
is while Spike is getting like freaking ripped to pieces, it's montaged, superimposed with freaking boring ass janitor Rudy guy giving this awkward ceremonial speech, something while Hicks and Newt are getting killed for the 14th time in this film.
Yeah.
And the visuals of the dog getting ripped open, blood everywhere, are freaking awesome. I love this shot. It's a great shot. The xenomorph rips out of its body, blood's coming down. Maybe one of the most intense things in an Alien movie, full stop. There are gems. There are definitely gems in this film.
A lot of the close-ups of the alien, like covered in blood, is actually in the assembly cut also.
Okay.
But the scene is cut pretty much the same. Where I like the idea of like, hey, because the prayer is about like death and rebirth, and we see like these bodies put away while this alien is breaking out and being born.
Mm-hmm.
In the assembly cut, we actually get to see the alien run away, and since no. So they never finished. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Don't worry. So they never finished the effect back in the day. So they used CGI in the assembly cut to finish the effect. So that one actually
more modern CG. Like we talking 2013,
2003. But it's such a quick shot. It actually works really well because they had the rod like they had it on set. They just by the time they went to do the effect, they decided not to use that sequence. So for the assembly cut, they actually painted over because it had an ox in the background, so it wouldn't have made sense.
Why not just fix the 4 or 5 other garbage scenes then with the CG if you already made the models?
Because they didn't want to touch all the finished effects without Fincher's input. So that's why they kept the
Fincher doesn't like the movie.
Yeah, but
Fincher probably be like, burn it to the ground for all
they felt weird. They felt weird about making that big of an alteration, but they did it for the chest burster because the effect was never finished.
Okay.
Well, but I like both of those versions of the thing. Although no, when I was a kid, I hated the dog because I had a Rottweiler and it made me sad because I was watching this movie with my Rottweiler in the room.
Well, that's the movie made me sad too, and I was by myself because nobody in my family would watch this pile of shit. My kids, 11 and 14, they've watched both Alien 1 and 2, and they sat down to watch this, and I don't even know when it was. 45 minutes in, an hour, they're gone. They checked out. They're like, I can't do it, Dad. I can't. I'm like, I don't know what to say, kids. I didn't pre-tell them that this movie sucked. I just said, hey, there is another Alien movie. And like, well, why didn't you show us it sooner? I'm like, oh, you'll see. And that was pretty much it. I'm like, well, there's actually 4 or 5 more Alien movies, but you'll see. You'll get there.
I think we can agree this might not be the worst one. But anyway.
It's not, well.
Definitely not the worst.
Well, Alien Requiem is definitely the worst. And then actually, Alien Coven shit is the one I hate the most because it just ruins everything.
I am 100% there with you.
Yeah, that movie is so bad. Anyway, let's get back to this mediocre film. Sure. We get Spike the dog. He's infected. He dies, and now we have teenage. I guess he's a full grown. He looks like a teenager to me, but I'll back off of that. He's a different version. Do you know what the xenomorph is called, Tony? There is a name.
They the fans now they've decided to call it the Runner because people got tired of saying dog or ox alien.
No, there's another name.
What?
There's another name. I saw it. I'm gonna look.
Oh, some fans call it the Dragon because that's what Gallic calls it. If that's what you're referring to,
I'm gonna look at the species because none of that sounds familiar to me. Yeah, I guess they are saying Runner XX121.
Oh, I don't know that. That's real nerdy shit.
Here's the one I'm looking at. Intermessivus raptus is the thing I'm seeing. Yeah,
that's too far in the fandom for me. I don't
know. So they're doing like potions and shit to come up with the names of this.
We're coming up with Latin names as if they're actual organisms.
Yeah, if we look at the queen's cells from Alien 2 and we look at the cells of the dog, and then another guy's like, actually, it's an ox. And then there's a record scratch and a pool ball goes off the table. For some reason, they're at a bar now and the scientist's there. And then they go up to each other like, you say that again, you motherfucker. He's like, Alien Assembly Cut is the definitive version. And then some other guy gets there. He's like, David Fincher never signed off on that. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a complete tangent. All right. So the alien runner, we're gonna call it the
Yes.
runner from now on. He's wrecking shop, kind of. He's taking his
Yeah.
time. He's picking off people here and there. This whole movie's ugly as shit. I just have to say it for the millionth time. It's a really ugly looking movie, color palette wise.
Strong disagree.
There's this.
I love it. I love the look of this film. I really love the look of this film.
There's a scene in the giant, I don't know, fan tunnel area. Is this a ventilation shaft of sorts?
Yeah.
There's some guy drew the short straw, so he has to mop it up. And I don't know what he's cleaning. This place is disgusting. So he's like sweeping up dust, and he's just putting it in another dust corner because the whole thing is dust. And so he steps on this alien remnants, the skin, because it's grown up, and he's like, "Oh God, this is so gross." Says the guy who hasn't showered ever. And then he gets a face full of acid from this dude who's hiding out in another vent. Goes Mortal Kombat stage fatality into the fan blade, and he's everywhere. This scene is
awesome.
That scene is awesome. That part
that is awesome as shit.
Tumbling around.
You know what's weird? So what happens in that scene? Okay, so this is when the alien is kind of like a teen, but just for this part, it's actually spitting acid into his face, but the editing is so choppy.
Oh yeah,
it's you can't really tell. The weird thing is, so I found actually the work print of this movie, and that has a clearer shot of the alien's mouth opening up and acid shooting out. So that was a good choice. They had a coherent shot, and they were like, "Nah, let's make it like all shaky and stuff to obscure it." I don't know why they did that.
They were trying to get you in the mindset of the criminal or whatever. What's going on?
That is a cool shot though, where like the shadow like moves and we see it like standing up. Like that's pretty cool.
There's some cool like you can just kind of see the silhouette of it. And Fincher's like, all right, this is shot number 7,000, take number 7,000. I'm gonna actually throw the camera at the guy as he's rolling, and we're gonna use that shot. Did you ever see the behind the scenes on that stuff where? I mean, Sigourney Weaver was there for hours just walking down this whatever shaft she was in, and Fincher just had to get this shot right. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine. And I love Fincher. His movies are so good. Not this one. Okay, anyway, he's dead. Doctor bangs Ripley. They've almost shared no screen time together. I think they chatted once in kind of an intimate setting. Otherwise, they've been with other people. And then she's instantly hit it and quit it scenario. She bangs it out. He leaves to go investigate, talk to the warden. And this is around the time when she goes to revive Bishop outside. She gets Bishop, puts him back together. Humpty Dumpty's his ass.
After being attacked and saved by Dylan.
Oh, that's right. She almost gets a little gang banged in the outside, wherever trash facility. This whole place is trash. She puts them together. Fincher's got a thing with the eyes in this movie. Ripley has this disgusting red pink eye thing going on. And then Bishop has just pus in his eyes, like half out. It's disgusting. Fincher's like, the eyes, we have to do more with the eyes. I don't really understand the point of the scene even. I feel like it didn't add anything of substance to the film. Can you correct me if I'm wrong?
I think her whole point is, so she was using him to like plug into the computer.
Yeah,
so, like the Sulaco to like hear the security tapes.
Okay.
So that's how she confirms that there was an alien on board, because she doesn't have confirmation yet. She's seen evidence that there is.
That's right. That's what it was for.
But it's also like she knows that if he knows and the computer knows, that the company knows, and they're not going to help. They're going to like come for it. So she knows she's in. That's why she's being quiet about everything and not really telling anyone.
She's very cagey about it all.
Because she really doesn't want the company to know, because she knows they'll all be dead, because they'd rather kill all of them and get the alien.
Right.
Yeah. And then the only surviving character goes, "Please mercy kill me, Ripley." And that's the end of all the aliens actors.
Yes, that's aliens actors are all completely gone, as was the plan all along. She mercy kills him, and then I mean, we don't have to do this chronologically or anything. Let me just point out some of the other stuff in the film, because I just broke this whole movie down, and honestly, I'm exhausted just talking about it. Let's talk about the highlights / lowlights for you. There's a moment when things finally go from 0 to 100, and that's when Doctor is giving the most boring speech ever about his childhood and how he was addicted to Who cares? What?
Morphine, yes.
Yeah, morphine. I'm like, why do I give a shit about you, dude? And if that xenomorph would have only come in 5 minutes earlier,
Well, see,
we could have been saved.
why I like it, because it's like, okay, this is Ripley's new man, and she's learning more about him, and clearly we're learning so much about him so we can care about him. And then years before Rian Johnson, they subvert our expectations. And like, even so, they've hinted at this romance. They've established his character. He's almost like the second lead actor. And they're like, okay, this is our guy for the rest of the movie. And then the alien comes in and fucking kills him. By the way, the assembly cut, it's way more graphic. You see his like head get punched in and shit. It is fucking
keeps shooting its mouth at the guy.
It's pretty fucking brutal. So I like that. I like that they're like, all right, well, I'm sad we lost those characters, but we like this guy. It's like, oh, psych, he's fucking dead.
The runner xenomorph gets a bat, comes back over. Just wailing on the dude.
By the way, two subverted expectations, because that guy usually plays a bad guy. So we go into the movie being like, oh, I know that actor. He's a bad guy. They're like, oh, he's a good guy. Oh, he's fucking dead.
Yeah, he's a Lannister. He's a Lannister. I know that in Game of Thrones.
Well, he was the bad guy in The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy. And Last Action Hero, he's Mr. Benedict.
Oh, you know what? That's the second time Golden Child's been brought up to me in 2 days. Yeah. I've never seen it.
I used to love it, but I haven't watched it since I was a kid, so I feel like maybe if I put it on, I'll be like, oh, this was better. This is not as good as I remember.
Yeah, I just can't speak to it. I know it's an Eddie Murphy vehicle, but he was in a million movies back in the day. Yeah. I don't care for Last Action Hero either.
I enjoy that one.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I have an episode on it if you want to know what I think about that.
Well, maybe a future debate as well if you're really into it. But and I love Arnold. That movie just didn't work. But anyway, okay, he gets viciously killed. This is the second of 2 good shots in this entire film, and it's followed up though with the previous shot being terrible, where we get our first rotoscope puppeteer xenomorph. He's like, and then he goes up to her and he whispers sweet nothings into her ear. It looks really great. Yeah. And then it opens the second mouth just to give it a little tease. But then it's like, oh shit, we got a baby on board. And then he backs away.
Well, that's the thing. Even people who hate this movie, idiots, I call them, like you. Yeah. Even they, like everyone I know who's seen this movie, even they will be like, that scene was really good and really tense. It was like good, that's a very tense scene, and then it brings the question, like, why didn't it kill her? You're like, what the fuck? Why isn't she dead?
Yes, I will definitively say that 5-second shot is really good in this 2-hour movie. 5 seconds of brilliance. But then, the answer why it doesn't kill her is super sad and super shitty, because she then goes to a pod with worker B number 7. He's got mud on his face, big disgrace. I don't know his name, but
no. You're misremembering. She goes with Aaron, the stuck up dude, the company dude, because the warden is now killed. So
is that the glasses? Is this glasses guy that you're talking about?
He's hat guy. He's the guy. He's the warden's right hand man. He's the one who actually brings her to the ship and X-rays her.
People have no personality in this film. Okay, yes, you are right. It's a different dude. Who cares? And that's the ultrasound. Yeah. And he's like, it's a girl.
and by the way, that is also after they try to capture the alien with like explosives to lead it into a room, and pretty much everyone died. So he's having a rough day.
I forgot there's 2 different sections of the movie where they basically do the exact same thing. Like, okay, let's try to lure it down different corridors. Yeah. And then it doesn't work. And then they take some time. And she's like, I have an idea. Let's lure it down different corridors. Like, yes, that's
into a different thing.
Different thing. Yeah.
Because before it was to capture it because it couldn't get out of the room, and now they're like, all right, well that didn't work in either version of this movie, so let's lead it to the other room and pour a bunch of hot shit on it.
Right, and a lot of people die. People die constantly in this movie. Yeah, but a lot of people die, but there's not a lot of cool deaths in the movie. All the same, there's really only the head shot through the skull. And a couple guys kind of get eaten off camera. One dude gets picked up by his dick later, which is really funny. It's super funny. It's a really weird shot. I don't know what they were thinking, but he's just like, look. then let's get to the culmination of this, the crux of this film. After a few more boring sitting around scenes talking with chains dangling everywhere, because everybody remembers the chain scene from the first movie. So Fincher's like, we're gonna put chains everywhere in this film. There's gonna be chains coming off of chains, but you won't see them because they'll be in the shadows. They finally get this xenomorph, the runner, into the lava area after what felt like a 45-minute sequence of GoPro footage going around hallways.
Well, so the GoPro footage, I feel, much like Jaws, which this movie is a lot like. It's just as good as Jaws.
Oh my gosh, how dare you?
They realize, I think at some point they realize that, maybe our state-of-the-art rod puppet effect might not look as good as we thought it would. And the man in the suit running would look weird. So they came up with that whole, like, let's do like the POV camera thing. I actually like a lot of that stuff. It is weird that you don't see hands crawling. No. That's a little bizarre.
Dude, that'd be cool. He like pounces on one. You just see the hands. It'd be like the scene from that terrible Doom movie with Dwayne Johnson.
But I will say, so they're leading into Leadworks. You said it was a lava thing. Are you one of those guys who watched Terminator 2 and thought it ended in a lava factory? Were you one of those dumb kids?
No, I know that there's this hot whatever pool of fucking magma or something, and he gets lowered down into a chain into it.
It's molten steel. I knew kids who swore it was lava, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, it's not lava, but yeah, whatever. It's like a smelting plant, something. It's the same ending as this movie. So
which was a coincidence, and that's why they changed a part of the ending.
Came out a year later.
Yeah, but remember, it was filming for a while. It had very troubled production.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ending, if you want to skip to that, or if you had something else to say.
I was just going to explain kind of what goes down.
Go.
The priest guy, he dies.
Yep.
Again, after doing really nothing in this whole film. He didn't even do a good job of keeping his men at bay. They tried to rape her. Even if he failed, he's like, my men are in check now. I got my eye on them. And then 4 hours later, they're already trying to like beat her up and take advantage of her.
They actually cut out a scene. It's in the assembly cut where like when they're all running through the corridors, like the plan gets like messed up and they're now in different set of corridors. And Ripley's like, what the hell's going on? And that guy just goes, we're improvising. And Ripley's like, oh my God, these idiots. So yeah, maybe he's not the best. Although, I mean, are you prepared to fight a space alien? I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm not either. But maybe this guy shouldn't be all like, peacocking up at Ripley right away. Like, you don't know anything. You don't know anything after she just killed a whole bunch of them or survived them. So we get to our Terminator 2 moment number 1 of 2, where they killed the xenomorph by having it go down this little corridor area, and she dumps what I think is literal shit on top of it.
It's
lead. Garbage.
It's lead.
Liquid shit. Lead. It all looks the same. It's lead.
It's lead. You're being facetious. You know it's lead because it's lead. How it dies.
Fine. It's lead. Whatever. It gets covered in lead. It's like, and then she dumps the water that none of the prisoners ever used to take a shower onto the xenomorph, which they do this CG shot. I think it's one of the only CG shots in the film.
That is,
where it's like and cracks its head. It looks really bad. And then boom, blows up. That's how they kill the xenomorph. Just like they tried to kill the T-1000 by having it freeze and shatter, but then it's liquid metal, so it fuses back.
It was the Terminator. I like that's how they kill, because they set it up earlier in the movie.
Yeah, it was actually fine.
They show like a metal bucket after that whole fire, and the sprinkler hits it, and the metal bucket expands. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of clever when you see it happen to the alien.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it was clever if it was, it was done in Terminator 2 a year before, so it was really clever when it happened in that movie. You can say unfortunate coincidence. I say plagiarism.
No. It was a coincidence because they literally were like, "Oh shit, we need to add something to the ending because it's too similar to that movie."
It's so funny though, looking at the quality difference, right? I mean, you look at that liquid metal scene in T2, it's so freaking good. And then a year later, Alien 3 comes out, and it's just not great. Yeah. And so even from that aspect, they did it worse even if it was not
Well, we're not on
intentional.
effects yet. We're not on effects yet.
I know. We'll get there. Let's get through story. So really, this wraps up with Ripley having to self-sacrifice because she doesn't trust human Bishop, who shows up with the crew. He reveals that all the models were made after him because he's a egotistical asshole like most billionaires, and he's gonna like save the baby. Or no, he's gonna remove the baby, kill the baby, and save her. Like he wants to dispose of this thing. She doesn't believe him. She's like, "Yeah, right. I know you guys. All right. I dealt with the mad about you guy in the last film."
Yeah.
So
she wants to believe him at one point. She does like start to give in, much like Jesus almost gave into temptation.
Of course, of course.
This is just like the Bible. So she's like, she goes like, "You really want to kill it?" And he's like, "Of course we want to kill it." By the way, he's being so evil. This part, she should have been like, "You're obviously lying."
Oh yeah, and they light him up too in such an evil way. He's got shadows everywhere. Looks very ominous. What happened to Paul Reiser as a side note from Terminator 2? Did his character survive? It's been a long time since I saw
Paul Reiser was not in Terminator 2.
I'm sorry, I meant Alien 2.
Oh no, he actually, yeah. So he dies. They show like an alien like attacks him. It's not in any cut of the movie, and for some reason it's not on any DVD. But there is evidence. There's an evidence of a scene where when she's in the hive, she finds him cocooned and she gives him a grenade to blow himself up.
Okay, that's
for whatever reason they've never made that scene available. But now I think the regular cut, you're just supposed to assume that alien that corners and kills him. I'd
like to think that Paul Reiser survived and that he's living his life happily.
Well, look, it's been a while since I played the game Aliens Colonial Marines, where apparently everything just fucking survived. That nuke just did nothing, apparently. And there's even DLC where Hicks, who is alive, is running into the prison planet and he sees Ripley falling into the fire and he's like, "I'm too late.
Okay.
I'm too late."
Newt's there too. She's got like the scar down the eye and she does like Black Widow moves where she like spins around the xenomorphs and snaps the neck.
I'm not shitting you. There's a whole DLC where like they wake up Hicks because he's the only military officer and he fights a guy and throws the guy in the pod, and that's how the beginning of Alien 3 starts.
Beautiful.
It's so dumb. It's so
you know what the beginning of this movie reminded me of, where they did the quick shots of the characters dead right away? It reminded me of the episode of The Simpsons where Poochie the dog, he's one of the characters on Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah.
And then to get rid of him, they're just like, "All right, I'm going home." And then Poochie died.
My home planet needs me.
Yeah, that's essentially what they did with Newton Hicks. Like, Newton Hicks died on their way to the prison planet.
I'm so upset they didn't do that to that girl in Mandalorian who got fired from the show. Someone pointed out, they're like, "Wait, this is a universe where you could literally say she died on the way to her home planet and it will make sense."
That was hilarious.
They didn't do it.
Who was up in that plane? And then they say the name of the person. I don't even remember her name. And he's like, "Oh, this is the way." Dun, 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 dun. All right. So the ending here, Ripley says, "Yeah, no, this isn't happening. Homie, don't play that way." And she does the Jesus pose, dive backwards, and as she's falling, the baby inside's like, "Oh shit, I gotta get out of here." Sheesh, comes out. She's like, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
This looks so bad. It's really shuddery. It's that terrible slow motion from the 90s.
Yeah. Again, saving that for effects. That is one rough thing. However, this is one case where I like the theatrical cut more. I like the chest burster coming out. It feels more Alien to like tie like Alien together in like a nice bow. I like that.
I don't mind how that they did that. I mind more how it looked.
Oh yeah. No,
then she falls into the fire below and just disappears. It's gone.
Yeah. But no, I like that whole scene because again, she's now had 2 daughters who died, and like the last daughter that she has to kill is her mortal enemy. I kind of like that whole sequence there, and even in the assembly cut, she just falls back, and it looks even worse than the theatrical cut. Some people like that better. They think the theatrical cutting is a little too schlocky with it coming out, but I enjoy it.
Okay, so nice that's really it. Then it says, end transmission, and that's the end of the movie. She self-sacrifices. Everybody's dead basically, and that's the happy ending.
Not everyone. Evil Bishop and that last prisoner are alive.
They are.
I every time I watch this movie, I smile and I'm like, "Oh, good. I'm glad Moore's made it.
I like to think that Bishop and Paul Reiser are together on an island, shooting off their own personal, private, giant dick ships to see who gets to whatever planet first.
But you can at least say this felt like a definitive ending until
it was definitive. Nothing's definitive
until resurrection happened.
Nothing is definitive. Bishop's back in Alien or in AVP. So is that a prequel?
Yeah, it's a prequel. So it's like he's Wayland.
Yeah.
And his company makes robotics, and for some reason they're interested in the pyramid. It makes no sense.
Yeah, so how old is Wayland, by the way? That he's
so the one in Alien 3 in like the expanded universe and games, he's supposed to be Michael Wayland. He's like a descendant of whoever made the Wayland port.
That looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's very convenient. It makes more sense in Alien 3, but when you factor in AVP and then Prometheus, you're like, none of this makes sense.
None of it adds up at all. But that's Hollywood, movie making. Yeah. We're on. It took 8 or 9 Fast and the Furious movies before Dom realized he had a brother. So
listen. The last note on the story.
Yeah.
Even though you watched the inferior version of the film,
the one that was released to everyone, yes.
Yes. I think either way, I kind of like the whole premise and everything. I think that's where me and you differ. I like the idea that everyone is dead. Ripley has left her own devices. She's now in a more hostile environment with an alien that she's not familiar with. She's more used to fighting the human aliens with guns. And now she's got this alien that she's not familiar with no weapons. I think it upped the stakes a lot, even with just one alien. No, I think it's really, really cool. Sure, a movie that is being rewritten on the fly is not going to be perfect. They could have tightened up some of the characters. But overall, I think it leads to a very satisfying ending and a nice ending to the whole trilogy and franchise. And then they kept going.
We have different definitions of the word satisfying. Watching all of the survivors die in like grim or depressing fashion is the complete opposite for me. But I hear you. You have your opinion. That's fine. Let's go to the effects round, and we're gonna get this really amazing bumper here. It's gonna be super long.
I can't wait.
Are you ready? Are you guys ready for the effects bumper?
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Effects. We have started. Thank you, sir. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this because we've kind of touched upon the effects here and there, but it is the ugliest of the 3 movies, both visually and from pretty much every angle you take it at.
I think it's supposed to look ugly. It's supposed to look like this dirty place you don't want to be in. I love the visuals. They had 2 cinematographers for this. They started with the guy who had worked with Ridley Scott on like Blade Runner and stuff. Unfortunately, he had Parkinson's, and they're like, "Well, buddy, you got a lot to take care of." So they replaced him. So that's why there are some there's a few there are some shots early on that don't match the rest of the visual style of the film.
There are better shots here and there.
Yeah,
I would say, Tony, as a fun fact. You say it's intentionally supposed to look ugly. I don't disagree with you. Yeah. But what's wild about this is we have the master behind the camera of making ugly things look beautiful. David Fincher has done movies on some of the ugliest, grimiest places, and they look freaking amazing. Seven, The Game, and freaking Fight Club. Yeah. They're all like ugly warehouses, these dingy back alleys.
It was his first time.
So good. Well, yeah, I'm not discrediting the fact that he had to start somewhere. I'm just discrediting this movie's look because the color palette, the just the way it's shot is even kind of hokey at times. I don't know. I
will say there are some effects wise. There are some really good effects that are more subtle. I actually love all the miniatures when they show like a wide shot of like that furnace lighting up is really cool. You actually get to see more in the assembly cut. They do this beautiful matte shot where there's like all these big cranes around the ocean, around the ship, around the facility. A lot of great practical effects. The shot of the escape pod going into the atmosphere. Yeah. Now listen, so that was like a matte painting, and then they shot the thing. So it glowing orange, that was like special paint that they had. They had a light that would make that paint glow orange. That wasn't even like an optical effect.
That was a great shot. I was going to bring that up. I really liked that shot. And when I watched this movie again, when that happened pretty early on, I thought, you know what? Maybe this movie's not going to be as bad as I remembered it, like visually speaking, but it's all kind of forward stacked, I feel like. And the
Yeah.
second half, it gets completely off the rails.
So, and then Studio ADI, they actually just disbanded this year. They've separated. But they've been doing since Alien 3, they worked on Aliens. But since Alien 3, they've kind of been doing all the alien effects for all the movies going forward. Sure. The alien himself looks great in this. It still has some of the, not the rod puppet, but the actual suit. It still has some of the biomechanical feel that I think the later movies got rid of. The face can do so more. That's also why I like they went down to one alien, because the previous film, they're like, all right, we have to have 12 aliens. They all can't really look really good. Just because we have to make so many of them on a budget. But this one, the alien's face is way more articulate than it ever has been. It actually feels like it's alive. It's a great suit. I don't think you can disagree with that.
I agree that it looks good, but it's really not shown much. I can only think of 3 or 4 scenes where you really get a good close-up look of the thing. Most of the times it's from the distance, or it's kind of in the shadows. Really just the shot where it goes up to Ripley, I can think of, and then the blood-covered shot. That's it. I mean, there's really not much there. When I think of Cameron's film in the previous movie, and all those beautiful designs and that amazing queen alien, you're coming from the angle that this movie had to be this way because of the budget and stuff, which fair, but it shouldn't have been this way to begin with. That's the point I'm coming from. We're going from an epic Aliens with James Cameron. This is one of the biggest properties hitting right now for Fox, and then for them to just I don't even want to say half-ass, but my God, what were they thinking in this movie?
Yeah, there was
so much control.
Yeah, there was a lot of mismanaging, and pretty much everyone who worked on this movie will agree that they all kind of fumbled it. Just like one executive of Fox is like, we want an alien, put a teaser out saying it's coming out in 1992. It's like, well, we don't have a script, we don't have a director, we don't even know if Sigourney Weaver's coming out, but here's a teaser that just says it's going to happen on Earth, which doesn't fucking happen.
It reminds me of the scientist in Austin Powers. We didn't anticipate feline complications.
But no, I like some of the dead body. Like Bishop looks great. The mangled up Bishop, that looks really good. Him matching up with the voice acting is really good. Apparently the ripped up Newt was like really graphic, and like a lot, there was way more like scenes that didn't make it into any edit of the film, because I'm pretty sure the executives were like, you got to tone that shit down.
We already got like the bloody knives going into the we didn't need any more of that.
When it comes to the sets, even if you don't like the design, the execution I think is good. I think the practical effects with the suit and everything look great. A lot of the gore looks really good. The whole mashed in, I don't think they don't show it in the assembly cut. I think they show like Hicks's like whole jaw is ripped off and shit.
I think they do show a shot of his jaw ripped off. There are some really quick shots, and the models did look good, but they kind of intentionally keep it hidden enough, probably so they didn't have to pay the actors for their likeness.
which they did for the assembly the theatrical cut. That little graphic of Hicks, he got paid more for that than he did all of Aliens.
That is wild.
And then for the assembly cut, I'm pretty sure they were like, don't include a shot of him. We'll have to pay him more.
I don't. Yeah, whatever. It's wild to me.
Now, here's where everyone, even people like me who love this movie, will agree. Some of the optical effects are really bad, including the rod puppet alien.
Rod puppet alien's really rough.
If they had waited like a year or two after Jurassic Park, it would have been done very different. But at the time, they didn't know that CGI was going to blow up.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to make miniature sets for the miniature alien. So they're like, we're going to do it all on a blue screen. And like the idea makes sense instead of doing stop motion, because you don't want it to be jerky. But yeah, it didn't work. And everyone who works on the effects of this movie will 100% agree that it did not work.
These movies are always fascinating to me because you always look at them and think they were clearly kind of out in front of their skis as far as what they could actually create. You have these wild ideas on script, right? Okay, the alien's gonna be climbing on the walls and he's gonna be picking dudes up. He's gonna have a second mouth. And then the CG department or the effects guys, the prop guys, like, how the hell are we gonna do any of this? Yeah. But then you think, okay, what if these scripts were made and came out today? they would half-ass it all, and it would all
Yeah.
be CG, and it wouldn't have the same charm or the same look and feel.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I would like one day, and actually, there are people who have actually added CGI models like on YouTube. So they did it for like Terminator, but they have done it for Alien 3. I would, if David Fincher ever gave his blessing, it would be cool to see a version of this with an actual CG alien.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. The rod puppet looks really, really bad.
Yeah. We don't have to harp on it much more. I just overall going from, the first movie, I'm trying to think the color palette. It kind of had the blues, and then it carried over to the second one a lot more. Cameron went all in on kind of that bluish, dark look. And then for this one to have almost transitioned, I feel like, whether that's intentional or more of what you're saying, the different directors, remains to be known to me. But the first, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes does have some of that blue look to it still, but then it just goes all in on orange and brown. He's like, we're orange this time. We're die-harding this thing. We're going McTiernan.
Maybe that's why I like it. I didn't even think about that.
I love Die Hard, man. That's like my favorite.
Die Hard's great.
Have they ever given any one of our classic heroes a decent send-off in a film? like Terminator 2?
Yeah.
Awesome, but then he's back for 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, John McClane.
John McClane had a great ending in 3, and then he's back in 4, and then 5, he's ruined. I can't even think of a single hero.
5 is terrible, and I'll never watch it again.
Horrible.
But that's more of just that was just kind of a shitty adventure for John McClane. I don't think anything really got ruined about him. I mean, he clearly has cancer for being so close to all that radiation.
Oh my god! I just mean though. I mean, has any one of these big icon characters had a decent ending to a film? I guess Logan, but now he's back again for Deadpool 3.
Mad Max, I guess. Well, now they brought him back for 4. 4 was good, but Mad Max.
Fury Road, yeah, but the new one's coming out too. Is Mad Max going to be in this one? Furiosa?
I have no idea. I'm trying to think. Did Rambo? I didn't see the last Rambo.
Oh,
did
God,
he have a
that
good
movie
ending?
Sucked. No,
never mind. Never mind.
Terrible. You know what? I'd say Rocky is probably as close as we're going to get to a decent send-off in Creed 2. But even then, it's not even really a full, whatever. It's more of a torch pass. I guess that's as good as we can hope. A torch pass for our guy before. Hopefully, they don't bring Stallone out for one last ride when he's in his 80s.
Well, how did you feel about all the characters from Jurassic Park and Dominion getting happy endings?
That movie's so bad, though.
Ellie and Alan finally got together.
I didn't care about them getting together. It's so bad.
Well, there's a lot of people who shit on Jurassic Park 3 who really want them to get together.
Oh my god, yeah, Jurassic Park 3. That's a hilarious movie. That whole franchise is a shit show too. Okay, those are the thoughts on Alien 3, Alien Cubed, as it's sometimes referred to, because the 3 is up in the corner for some reason. I don't understand the logic of that at all. Maybe it's just a style thing, Tony. Do they have a reason?
I haven't. If there is a reason, I don't recall. I just remember the people on the behind the scenes joking and calling it Alien Cube themselves.
Alien Cubed. That's perfect.
Is this our final thought segment?
This is a final thought segment. So I'll let you have the last word. I'm just gonna say a really quick thing. X-Men 3.
Oh, you fucker! I was just about to do that same joke.
Blade Trinity.
Fuck! I hate you so much.
Terminator 3. Alien 3. What do they have in common? They're all fucking terrible. They all went from these amazing crescendo films and completely dropped the ball. And we're left with this miserable, terrible final outing for Sigourney until they have to dust her ass off and resurrect her literally for another film to just give her some sort of badass send-off. Did they fail again? Of course. Because these are ruined ever since 3. And that's all I have to say. I think we all know it. The poll is still open. I implore you to make the right call here. Don't let Tony have this. He's a hack. It's in the name of his channel, which you should absolutely subscribe to. Hack the Movies. I was going to make a little photo for you, Tony, but I didn't have time for that either. But I was going to have a little channel thing and whatever. I said my piece. Please do your part. and vote. Tony, the floor is yours.
I hate you so much. I literally, Adam, I've been planning it all fucking day.
No, we should have communicated.
I literally was gonna go X-Men 3. I was gonna name 3 sequels, and then I was gonna be like, we can all agree they are the best of each franchise. And you totally took the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, that's what we do. Tony, do you think this is my first rodeo? I've done hundreds of episodes of Movie Feuds.
Okay, so Alien 3. If you want, Alien 3 is for smart, sophisticated, artsy, better, good-looking people like myself.
I have to mute my mic.
Okay. Good-looking people like myself. People, they want safe. They want just like fast food entertainment. That's what people like Adam want. They're like, oh, I think the sequel should have an even bigger queen. It should have 10 queens and 1 billion aliens. And that's how movies get worse and worse and worse. I mean, look at the Fast franchise. It's like, oh, wow, there were a couple cool car races. Now they're like, oh, the cars are in space and swinging on vines. It just gets worse. Alien 3 is smart. It took risks, much like The Last Jedi, which I know we all love on this channel. And it tried something different. It circled that. I don't like that 2 overshadowed 1, and 3 paid more of a tribute to 1. So yes, sure, if you've watched the theatrical cut, you're not seeing the true version of the movie. I can understand your frustrations. But when you see the assembly cut, you see a real work of art from a director who, I don't know, maybe never made anything good again. I mean, Fight Club's okay. But really, this was his masterpiece, as much as he doesn't want to admit it. Yes, Alien 3 is for smart, intelligent, attractive people with big brains, not people like Adam, who are more stupider than me.
Yeah, you'll notice that only one of us has insulted the other on this thing. So maybe vote for the one that's a little bit more.
I didn't realize my laptop was covering up my Alien 3 shirt.
Oh, that's fine.
I just want to show that.
That's fine.
Off.
You shouldn't want to share that with anyone. The poll is at 50-50 right now.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
50%. This is disgusting that it's come to this even. I can only hope that at some point people will grow a set of a brain. If you can you grow a set of brains? Because that's what we need. We need a companion brain here. Okay. The poll is open. In the meantime, we are going to do super chats. So if you gave super chats, which you should be supporting the channel, it's awesome. Throw a super chat at me. I would appreciate it. Again, Sound of Freedom is getting 100% of these super chats. This is what I'm telling the Sound of Freedom family. We're paying it forward here. And Sound of Freedom is what I've named my checking account for the day. I just want to make that crystal clear. Okay,
but you spelled it differently.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Okay. Bubba with a $4.99 super chat says, "Hey, we got Mike and Cindy watching, so watch your language." Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. That's my mom and dad, so they're watching, and I did swear a few times. I apologize. Rob K.
Adam. For the comments, you can click on them and bring them up on screen.
Oh, I meant to do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Here,
okay.
Bubba, sure. Hey, it's the first episode of Movie Feuds. We're trying to get. I got stuff going on everywhere. There's a lot of banners. There's a lot of tickers. Okay, Rob K with a beautiful. Yep, we got a $2 super chat. Always remember, guys, more drugs, less slugs.
That is a reference to my faculty review.
Yes, I did know that. Yep.
Yeah, I got a spam call about like donating to the police to get rid of drugs, and I'm like, oh, I just watched this movie where drugs was the key to beating the aliens.
We got a $5 beautiful super chat from King Cold. You guys work well together. Oh, that's nice.
Wait, but we're at each other's throats. We're supposed to be fighting right now. How? Wow, we're doing a bad job of being enemies, I guess.
Uh-oh, looks like we got some silly money coming in over here.
Looney Tunes money?
Looney Tunes money. AJ Wizzle. Tony's metagag review of the theatrical cut of Alien 3 with Prisoner Mike was the day I truly came to appreciate his comedy genius.
I mean, that was one of the funniest things I've ever
Tony's got some good humor, and he's got some bad taste in movies. Make it known. Vote with your conscience. All right. Master Sergeant, who's an awesome supporter of this channel, gives a beautiful, powerful, bold $10 super chat. Michael Biehn and Carrie Henn were awesome in Alien 3. I did like when they died right away. That was a pretty awesome moment. Beautiful performances. They got paid handsomely from what
I just wasn't that invested in them. Like, they served a purpose for Ripley, and after that movie, I'm like, I don't care what happens to these characters afterwards.
There's so many things that, yeah, I agree they didn't need to be in the movie, but there are so many ways they could have sunset them without, you know, they could have just said, hey, they went to their home planet. You know,
maybe only Ripley's pod ejected, something like that.
No. Tony, you're still stuck on the fact that the script made them. There's no fucking face hugger on this ship in different versions, okay? They went home. They went away. And then years later, maybe Ripley goes on another mission and something goes awry. Or this would be crazy. You want to Rian Johnson this thing? There's no xenomorphs in Alien 3. It's a different alien species altogether.
Okay. Well, actually, that's kind of close. Are you aware of the William Gibson version?
No, I'm not aware of any versions.
Okay. So William Gibson, he wrote a version where Ripley was kind of in a coma the whole time, and Newt eventually gets sent away at a space station, and Hicks is kind of the main character. They've since turned that into a comic book and an audio play on Audible. So if you want to see a version of that, you can.
I don't, but that sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely stunning. Jan Rose, another awesome supporter of the channel, $5, says, enjoy the dynamic you two have. Are you guys going to do another of these of different movies? Well, we already kind of teased maybe a Last Action Hero, but I'm sure Tony's been on the channel several times in the past. He did a couple movie feuds. I believe one of them was The Devil's Advocate versus End of Days. I have no idea why that was an episode we did.
Because I was doing them on my channel, and I'm like, hey, I'll promote your videos when I do this.
Tony's like,
Tony's
like, Adam's channel's currently dying and hemorrhaging subscribers. This was a couple years back. How can I put the final nail in this guy's coffin? I know. Let's do these two random movies from the 90s, and that'll get them.
You know what? You're right. That was a bad idea. Thankfully, we also did Volcano versus Dante's Peak.
We did Volcano versus Dante's Peak, and do you remember the third one? There were 3 of them.
Oh my God, I'm blanking on the third one.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if you were on it, but I was definitely on your show for it. We might have done a collab both ways on that one. Were you on the old versus new? Oh God, I'm blanking on the title. The Olympus fighting dude with Medusa.
Oh no, we did a video about how many Titans were in the Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Okay,
and that wasn't a movie view, but the joke was that there's only one Titan in the sequel to the remake.
I actually did a movie feud though on that. I did a Clash of the Titans versus the remake of it.
Yeah,
I thought maybe you were in that, but I guess you weren't.
No, we did that other video. That was fun.
Never mind. Yeah, that was fun. All right, is this it really? After all the blood, sweat, and tears I pushed out, we only got 6 super chats tonight.
Guys, I want 10 more super chats right now.
Tony, what? I thought you brought some people over here. This is just sad.
I did my best.
Are our audiences truly the same now at this point? We have nothing to offer each other as far as new subscribers. The ones we have are like, yeah, I know who he is. Oh, you didn't subscribe to him? Nah, yeah, I know who he is. I'm good. Oh, okay. All right, I got it.
Yeah, whenever I see like where your subscribers came from, you're never on there.
No.
It's ironically, it's channels I don't really interact with.
I actually lose subscribers when I go on your channel. They're like, "Oh, you're associated with Hack the Movies." Okay,
one of them is this like wrestling legend dude called Jim Cornette who blocked me on Twitter because I called him a cuck 3 years ago. But for some reason, we share an audience and they subscribe to me.
Same audience, yeah. It's a perfect match. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you know what, Tony? I guess it's a quiet Friday night. I understand. People are at Barbenheimer, which I should probably segue with. I have a review out. I have 2 reviews out today because I'm working my ass off. I got a Barbie review out. I have a Oppenheimer review out. One of them I really liked. Another one I kind of liked, but it dropped the ball and I became disappointed with it. You can figure out which one it is probably. You can probably figure that out. Well, I will also be on T-Money, as I'm calling Tony right now. I'm going to be on his channel in a week? Next Friday?
No,
Thursday?
this coming Thursday.
This Thursday. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I still gotta finish watching all the movies. I made them more streaming stuff this time to make it easier. So
It would be nice if you could just completely change your schedule for me and push your stream time later, because Thursday nights are when I see movies. But
you had all this time to tell me that. You know, I didn't know it was a problem.
I didn't think you would actually change it for little old me, so I wasn't being serious.
I could.
Let me see what we have. So what comes out this week is The Baker, which I've never heard of. That's with Ron Perlman, I think.
Ooh.
Talk to Me. Oh, that's the horror one. That actually looked kind of good. That's an A24.
Oh, yeah,
A24 movie. And then another horror movie that I know Tony's already pre-bought his tickets for. That's The Haunted Mansion, the Disney Haunted Mansion, which is different than Disney's Haunted Mansion that came out with Eddie Murphy and was a horrible film.
Is this related to the Muppets Haunted Mansion that came out?
This is not related to the Muppets Haunted Mansion. It is a 2-hour film because fuck you. Everything is now. 2-hour film. Owen Wilson's in it. Jared Leto's in this.
He's the Hatbox Ghost.
Tiffany Haddish, or is that how you say that name? Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito. I'm from Minnesota, so everything's an A, like whatever. Wait, Seinfeld. Oh, Stanfield. I thought that said Jerry Seinfeld at first. I was all excited. I'm like, Jerry Seinfeld? What's the deal with these haunted mansions?
I think that comes out either like the day of or the day after our live episode, so I'm not including that in the thing.
No, it comes out Thursday night.
Yeah, that's when we do the show Thursday night.
Well, I go to the movie before the show.
Oh my God.
That's not my fault that you don't.
Do you want me to make it 8 o'clock or 9? Would that be easier?
If I do a double feature, there is a 3 o'clock standard time for Haunted Mansion. That puts me at 5:20 because there's always 20 minutes of trailers.
I love how we're doing a production meeting right now.
We're doing a production meeting right now because I'm hoping that people bring in some super chats, but no one is.
No, someone did. They want us to do a rap battle, but I'm not.
Werewolf. Yo, Talk to Me comes out this Thursday. Hold my pee because I got 2 back to back. I got Haunted Mansion picking up the back. I should have said picking up the slack. That was terrible. Okay, we got. Oh, this won't work at all. Okay,
Yo,
I got to
like Alien. One. Wait, I'm not gonna do my rap. Yo, if you like Alien 3, then you fucks with me. I'm the main G in this movie.
Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Just start ripping off songs from
Mom Spaghetti. Mom Spaghetti. Mom Spaghetti.
Yo. Doc Savage for $2. When are you guys gonna do Tiptoes with Peter Dinklage? That's a movie?
Oh, dude, that's the most offensive little person movie ever, and Peter Dinklage is in it. The Gary Old, so it's Matthew McConaughey. He's a normal sized guy with Kate Beckinsale, and then he basically tells her that his entire family is little people, and his brother is Gary Oldman, who plays a little person.
Oh my god!
And then there's like weird sex stuff with the little people. It's a movie that like no one involved wanted to get released, and then it did. So check that out. That's a fun one.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
Yep.
Okay. Talk to Me is an hour and 35. That is amazing. That is like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Talk to Me is at 4:10, 5:10, and then Haunted Mansion is at 6:10, 7:10, 8:10. That won't work. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to do Talk to Me, and I'll see Haunted Mansion like the next day. So we'll make it work, Tony. You don't have to change your stream time.
In the future, I will adjust it just for you.
I would think so. Although I do see in your chat once in a while, people are like, "Get Adam off of your show. He's trash."
Fuck them.
Yeah, okay.
You're like one of the last movie like channels I actually watched that isn't my own. There's like very few. You, Joey C, Mid Salad. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's all.
That's it. I mean, that's it. I think I watch Hack the Movies once in a while, and that's. But I don't even watch Red Letter Media anymore. Those guys are hilarious. I know. I don't have time.
There's time, and also like I can't watch the review of new things until I've reviewed it.
Well, and your show's good because it's like a podcast. I don't have to actually watch. I can be doing the dishes or doing whatever, yelling at my children.
Oh, actually, plug for you. I actually like the podcast format you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do that every Monday. Every Monday's the podcast.
I mean,
Tony,
that's when my show airs, so fuck you. But
well,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. That's
it's very
wait, what time does your show air on Monday?
3.
Okay, well, my podcast goes up at 9 a.m., but then I do like a live watch at like 11. But I
I'm
could
kidding.
do a thing. Can you do the thing on YouTube where you push people to another channel? Is that a thing?
I think that might be a thing. I don't know.
Because I could do that.
I was joking, by the way.
I know,
You
but
don't
I'm
have to do that.
trying to have some synergy here. We do a thing where they watch along, and then I'm like, hey, go over to Tony's channel and watch his stuff. King Cold for $3. He came in at the last second. I don't know if did I put docs up on the screen? I don't think I did.
You did now.
Well, I'm putting it up there so that he gets a little representation. I like his eye patch. Is he a Muppet?
I don't know what that is. Is that an amiibo?
Is that like a Wii character?
Yeah, whatever those are called.
Okay, and I don't know if I put Pizza Werewolf up there either, and that's a great photo. I love that.
It's a really good.
Yeah, it's a really good photo. Beautifully done. Okay, here we go. King Cold, have Adam on for a stellar Godzilla review. Well, I have been on one of them.
Yes, Godzilla versus Megalon, everyone's favorite, with the robot Jet Jaguar.
That was a very fun episode to do and a very fun movie to watch. That movie was a train wreck.
So yeah, we're planning to bring the podcast back. We've done a couple bonus videos so far to like just breathe some life into the channel.
Sure.
But yeah, we are gonna start with the Heisei series. So starting from like the 80s reboot all the way to 2000. We will be doing that, and then
I don't know what any of that is, but it sounds amazing.
The Godzilla timelines are broken up into different series. So yes, we will be doing that. So get ready for those. That's going to be a live format. We're changing the show to be a live format, so it's going to be a lot of fun, Adam.
Wow, I'm excited for that. I love these lives. I get scared out of my mind when I start them, but then after 10-15 minutes, it all starts to kind of come together.
Yeah.
Okay, we are getting a couple at the end, which is really nice. Randa's 626 with the $2 says, tell Tony to sing the Willy Wonka song.
Well, the Come With Me or the rowboat one?
Take a look.
I can hold on. I'm looking up the rowboat song.
Alien 3. Success.
Okay, I'm gonna do the rowboat. I'm gonna do the rowboat.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, where is it? Round the world.
And when you're done, Tony, I have a special announcement to end things.
Okay. Round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way. Faster, 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 faster. There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. There's no knowing where we're rowing or which way the river's flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? It's a hurricane a-blowing. Not a speck of light is showing. So the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a-glowing? Is the grizzly reaper mowing? Yes, the danger must be growing. For the rowers keep on rowing. And they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing. There you go.
Wow. That's when they're going through the psychedelic tunnel.
Yeah. Adam, if you want to know more about that, Monday's episode of my show is the original Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
And not that one. Not that one.
Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka. I saw an interview with Gene. How am I blanking his name?
Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Very old Gene Wilder, and he just looked depressed as all shit when they brought up the Tim Burton movie. He's just straight up, I do not like Tim Burton films. I do not like them in a can. I do not like them with a ham. He was very sad about it. So on a positive final note.
Okay.
Tony, you're going to love this.
Okay.
I can officially say with the utmost confidence and aplomb that Alien 3 is bad. Has won with 52% of the votes tallied. It is a bad movie and the people have spoken.
You're all, you know what? In another 30 years, people will finally come around on that movie. They'll finally come around on that movie. You guys insult me in front of my Alien 3 wall. The picture of my niece that I photoshopped into Alien 3. You insult me in front of all of this. There's more shit down there.
This man was in The Dark Knight Rises.
Again, a part 3 that was better than the previous 2, much like Alien 3.
Another part 3.
I know good part 3s, Adam.
Oh, well, you don't know how to win a feud because you lost. You're done, Tony. Get off my channel and never return.
Adam, I'll have my day in the sun. Remember, when we first met, you beat me in a debate, but I ended up being right because the movie ended up sucking. So
yes,
don't celebrate too soon, Adam.
That's right.
I'm sure
debater.
I'm sure next year people will finally all love Alien 3.
That's right. Next year's the year. Next year's the year. There is an Alien TV show in the works, so that very well could push people to look back and say, you know what, we didn't have it so bad.
Oh no, Adam, I don't care about any other Alien stuff coming up. Honestly, if Disney came out, and I said this many times, if Disney came out and said, "Hey, for fans of the Alien franchise, we want you all to know that we are not making any more Alien things," that would be the happiest fucking day of my life. Because I really don't want to see my favorite franchise get ruined even further. It's like, just give up. You're not, and now they're doing more, and I don't care. Is it good? Who knows? I'm not getting excited. I've been let down too many times.
I hear you. I hear you. Tony, thank you very much. This is always a pleasure. I will see you on Thursday. Everybody, subscribe to Hack the Movies. Yes. Last word, Tony. Pimp your shit again, and we can be done with this.
Subscribe to Hack the Movies. We talk about movies new and old. And I have a review for the theatrical cut of Alien 3, the assembly cut of Alien 3 on Patreon, the unreleased William Gibson cut, and I even did a video on the work print cut that I found of it. So I have a lot of Alien 3 on my channel.
Alien 3. That's too
Check
much
that
Alien
out.
3. That's way
not enough. I want more.
All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you very much for the super chats and the comments. The polls, I think, stay open. I don't know. I have no idea if you can vote after the stream is stopped. Maybe not. But as of now, Alien 3 sucks. It lost, and people have spoken. Thank you once more, and we will see you next time. Take care.